Why, hello, my friends. It is Quest.
The Adventure Game Podcast.
I've noticed that you've started to pick up that part, so now let's formalize it. Jess, when I say welcome to Quest, or I just say Quest, from now on, it's official. You say that, yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Oh, well, let's play the theme again. All right.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2. It's Quest.
And hello also. How's it going, Ben?
Oh, pretty good. You know, I just had I would say a quarter of a whole lasagna that I made, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it sloshing, you know?
Yeah, you got to carb load before podcasting. That's the only way you're going to keep your energy up.
Yeah.
I mean, we edit this down to like an hour and 15 minutes. A lot of these sessions go 6-7 hours.
Yeah. These we start recording usually at, like, I would say about 6 a.m. and we're usually done in the afternoon. And we just keep the best parts. So if you're ever listening and you're like, wow, how are Ben and Jess so on top of it? Just be aware that this is like, that famous missing cut of Dune, that David Lynch, like, he was like, oh, there is a version out there of, wait, hold on, I can't say it like this. There is a version out there of Dune, which is 5.5 hours.
It doesn't have Timothy Chalamet in it, though.
No, but it has
see it.
Sweet, handsome, young Kyle. Young Kyle MacLachlan, he's a little snack.
But it has Sting, too, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he's a snack in it, too, and he just wears his underoos.
I try not to support Sting or the police.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Patrick Stewart's in it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart. Brad Dourif. Chucky himself. That's right. Brad Dourif. It has a ton of...
A sandworm.
It does have a sandworm.
Sandworm from Beetlejuice is in it.
Yeah, they got the sand, David gave... I'm pretty sure that Dune came out before Beetlejuice.
I think several years, yes. I mean, you would get precise about it. Yes, I think so.
But yeah, David Lynch called up the sandworm, who was busy physically preparing to be in Beetlejuice, and said, "Can you please be in my new film, Dune?" And the sandworm said, it just kind of nodded.
Yeah. Whatever sound a sandworm makes, right?
Yeah. It's just kind of like
that was good audio, I bet. I bet that a lot of listeners are like, I'm glad I have my AirPods in right now.
That was great audio. How are you doing, Jess?
I'm pretty good. It's been a good day. I've been...
You had a good day. You know that song? I do.
That's a great song. It's a great song, yeah. No, I mean, I've been productive lately. I've been doing my real day job. I've been grading exams and all that kind of exciting stuff. It's been a good day, but you know what I'm ready to do?
What are you ready to do?
I'm ready to talk video games, and specifically, I'm ready to talk about, Ben, what you've been playing.
Oh, well, Jess, what I've been playing is... Let me pull it up on Steam, because it has a very specific name, and I want to make sure I get it right. It is this brand new game that I heard it was brought up on Jeff Gerstmann's podcast. He was talking about it, and he started describing it, and I was like, oh, this is a game that I am absolutely going to purchase immediately. And that game is called Nubby's Number Factory.
Nubby's Number Factory?
Nubby's Number Factory.
Nubby's Number Factory.
Yeah. Nubby's Number Factory is a game. First off, I'll note it is $5 American dollars, and it is like it's a peggle 'em up.
Okay.
You're peggling in it, and so which is to say you're dropping a little ball, and there's little like bing bang, it's like a pachinko.
Yeah.
And it has a mid-90s, late 90s, like kind of VGA doing bad pre-rendered 3D look. It looks like a click and play game.
Oh, I like that aesthetic.
Yeah, it looks like a game that they would play in Hypnospace Outlaw. That's what it looks like. And so the marriage of like kind of a Peggle type game with some like roguelike type stuff and this like very charming 90s aesthetic, it just hits all the spots for me. So that's what I've been playing. I picked it up because it's like, so I'm listening to his podcast and he mentions it, and I'm just like, oh, this is obviously a game that I'm going to be interested in. And then like I look it up and it's $5 American dollars.
I mean, that's nothing.
So it's like it costs less than eggs.
I spend more on pigeon feed every day than that.
I spend more on the bread that I feed the ducks every day.
I spend more on the jelly beans I give to squirrels in the park.
I spend more on the Reese's Pieces I use to have E.T. follow me around.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done,
Yeah.
Ben.
So that's what I've been playing. It's pretty good. It's let me see. Have they done any other. I'm unfamiliar with the other games that they've done, and but that's what I've been playing.
Dan, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Is $5 the sweet spot at which you will purchase a game kind of unthinkingly on the off chance? Yeah, like $5.99 and I'm on the bubble already. Like $5.99, I'm like, I don't know. $4.99, $5. I'm like, sure, I'll give that game 10 minutes of my time and see where it goes.
Yeah, this it's $4.99.
Yeah.
If I played it, so last night I installed it, I played it on my Steam Deck, I had a nice time, I played it for just 1 hour. If I never played it again, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna play it again. But if I never played it again, I wouldn't be pissed off about it, No. Like I'd just be like, oh, that was a fun hour. Or even if it wasn't, I'd be like, oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, $5 plus
if
tax.
you booked an hour at a very fancy spa, that might have cost you $300 or $400.
Right. Yeah, like I just had movers for 3.5 hours, and let me tell you, that cost more than $5 an hour. I'll tell you that one for free. Now, Jess, what have you been playing? And I swear to God, are you going to talk about what you've been streaming?
No.
Well, you've done it.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Are you going to say you've been playing King's Quest 2?
No, I wasn't going to say that, Ben. Just quickly, like, digging through my Steam library.
I'm playing.
No. I'll tell you what I've been playing. I've been trying for, I think, the third time now to play Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh.
The first couple of times I tried to play it,
yeah,
I bounced off pretty quickly, mostly because to get the game looking pretty decent, it just would not run at all. Like
right. It
was melting my poor computer. But
and now you got a beast. You got quite the computer.
I got a beast. Now I can crank it up to ultra cinematic mode or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't even hear the fan running.
Crank it up.
Yeah, that's right. So I am like, I'm pumping out those F's, P's, the S's, the whole thing. Now my problem is like, now it runs smooth as butter. But
now you're like, I don't like it.
Well, I mean, I don't even know if it's that. Tell me if this has ever happened to you, Ben. I am staring down this massive RPG,
right?
And the anticipation of the amount of time I would have to pour into it has given me like paralysis to move forward in the game. It's just like, if I start down this path, this is a serious life commitment I'm making. And
right.
I just can't make myself do it. I like play it for 15 or 20 minutes. I'll get a quest. I'll be like, oh God, that quest is going to take like half an hour, and then it's just going to lead to another quest.
For some people,
level up.
For some people, that's an absolute delight. But I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like for some people, that's why they buy a game like Cyberpunk.
And I think that's what, I mean, that's me in a lot of cases. Like when I buy like a Fallout game, that's what I want to do. I want to get hooked into, I'm in this for a whole lot of gameplay. Maybe it does mean I just don't like it that much. Maybe if the thought, if I play much more of this, I'm going to have to spend a minimum of like 80 hours with it is, you know, maybe the fact I don't like it as much as I want to is what's keeping me from doing that. Because I'm not afraid of a giant game, but I'm afraid to commit to this giant game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's pretty. It's very, I mean, it's an impressive piece of tech.
I haven't played Cyberpunk, and every now and again I get tempted. Like there will be a sale, and I'll be like, maybe I should pick that up. Did you play any of the Witcher games?
You know, the only one I've spent any real time with was Witcher 2.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, I think that it was the one that sort of hit big in a way that made a lot of people who hadn't maybe been paying attention to Witcher 1, as I remember, really go back and start to appreciate the franchise outside of sort of the niche that it was appealing to there at first. And I think I may have played it on Xbox 360.
I think it was, yeah.
Right?
I think it was.
Yeah, I played it there, and I bounced off of it pretty quickly. Like, as I remember, what turned me off was the combat.
Oh, I hated the combat in that game.
It involved a lot of potion taking and stuff, as I remember.
I hated the combat in that game.
It was really clunky, and my wife and I were playing it together, kind of couch co-op, handing the controller back and forth, and neither one of us was really getting into it. I probably put in like 2 or 3 hours, and we just decided to say goodbye to The Witcher. So I've never really spent much time with any CD Projekt Red game.
So I've played a little bit of all three. I've played the most of 3. And I would say like playing 2, like the combat was just too much, too spicy for this guy.
Yeah, like the tutorial battles were a little too spicy for me, which is never a good sign.
Yeah, same. And but the funny thing about the Witcher games to me is that each time those games came out, like it was heralded by people as it's like, all right, now this is the one. Because I remember when Witcher 1 came out, people were like, all the like gaming forums, I was just like, there's this Polish RPG that you've never heard of that's unbelievable. And if you get the foreign version, you see nude women. Oh, really?
Let me jot down a quick note here.
and then The Witcher 2 came out, and I remember like those same people being like, all right, well, Witcher 1, that was a pile of crap, unplayable, built on top of Neverwinter Nights or whatever. Awful, garbage. Now here it is, Witcher 2. This is a game. This is really real. This is unbelievable. It's gorgeous.
It was that hype cycle that suckered me in.
Yeah,
it was
and
the first one had some promise, but this is the good one.
Now, so then I played The Witcher 2, and I had the same exact problem as you did. And then Witcher 3 came out, and I mean, Witcher 3 was an unqualified hit, right?
Yeah.
Like that was a big deal
Smash.
hit. Like people who didn't. 3 is a lucky number for RPGs, isn't it?
Yeah. You
Baldur's
think,
Gate 3.
Yeah.
You know. Like anyway. So. Witcher 3 is the one that I've played the most. I would say probably a quarter of the plot through. And I'm just too much a dummy for The Witcher.
Yeah. I bounced off the television series too. I tried to watch that and I'm like, nah, this isn't for me either.
I love like how detailed the world is. I love how the quests are made, the performances in the game. It's all like, it's a very tight game overall. I'll play it and I'll be like, wow, this is a handsome game. This is this is really it. Like it is very, very good. I just play it and I'm just like, this is just way too fucking much for me. Like it's just way too much. And as I said, like for a certain type of player, and that's me sometimes, like if I open up Skyrim, but it's so rich, it's too much for me.
Yeah. I used to play a lot of Skyrim, but then I took an arrow to the knee. And have you heard about the cake? And that's the end of what have you been playing.
All right. Well, guess what? We have some emails.
Wow, the email song. We don't hear this enough. I wish we had a way for our listeners to reach out and contact us.
Well, Jess, funny you say that. Our listeners can do that by emailing us at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. We have 2 emails. The first one. Dear hosts of the Quest podcast, how are you? I am fine.
Oh.
During your special episode on Codename Iceman, you wondered if the beloved submarine simulator pushed it over the line to have the largest number of death messages in a Sierra adventure. As Scum VM developer Sluicebox had decompiled all the SEI game scripts, I had a quick look. All the SEI games have different scripts for handling death, but most of them have a procedure called Ego Dead, which draws the little window with a death message and the restart, restore, and quit buttons. I'm pleased to say your instincts were 100% correct.
Yes.
The number 1 slot goes to Codename Iceman with 108 unique calls to Ego Dead, narrowly beating Quest for Glory 2 with its anemic 101 calls.
Wow.
So now, let's go to the top 10. The rest of the top 10. The next one, Quest for Glory 1, EGA, 88. King's Quest 7, 71.
7, huh? That's unexpected.
That's very unexpected to me. Quest for Glory 4, 67. Conquest of the Longbow, 55. Conquest of Camelot, 54. Quest for Glory 3 and Space Quest 1 VGA tied at 53. Space Quest 5 and Police Quest 2 tied at 44. I gotta say, the deaths in Space Quest 4 are my favorite. Space Quest 4 and Police Quest 3 are tied at 33. And then Moral Recordings, who wrote this email to us, says, my question to you, do you have any favorite adventure games from the early multimedia era? Like the one kickstarted by everyone buying a Mac or Windows 3.1 machine with a CD-ROM drive to play Myth, excluding Sierra and LucasArts.
Oh, that's rough. That's where they get you. Because like for me, I think the game that like sold me on the multimedia revolution was maybe Sam and Max. Like, I feel like that was the one that's like, okay, there's something to this whole talkie thing. Because I've been impressed, but again, that's LucasArts. So I'm trying to think if there was
I'm trying to think
early. I mean, I was very much a Sierra and LucasArts guy. I mean, I guess an example of a game I picked up that would fit that bill, maybe for me, might have been Kyrandia 1, was one that I thought was very pretty, that I thought the production values were high on. Again, it did that thing that, you know, LucasArts did well, that I think in its early multimedia, Sierra dropped the ball on. They hired proper voice actors. They bothered to think about sound quality, things like that, that made me, you know, as far as early games I remember from that era, that's probably an adventure game that left out for me, is like, oh, other companies can do this and do this pretty well also. They can ape this style.
I don't have any, but Moral Recordings continues. If the answer is no, I can recommend a few.
Okay.
Spaceship Warlock, Wrath of the Gods, Gadget: Invention, Travel and Adventure, aka Guillermo del Toro's favorite adventure game, which is interesting.
Yes.
And the Cosmology of Kyoto, aka the only video game that Roger Ebert ever liked. That one I knew.
I don't think
very good, and they all run in Scum VM.
Wow.
I'm very curious about these. All the best, Moral Recordings. Thank you, Moral Recordings.
Thank you. That's a lot to chew on.
You know, I'm gonna because this next email is also about Codename Iceman. I am gonna
thank you
put us in the mood. So this one is from our friend Matthew. The subject is, I liked Codename Iceman.
Oh, this is provocative already.
Okay, so I was just a dumb kid. I'd never played a DOS game that wasn't either Supernova by Scott Miller or some silly CGA arcade game. My grandfather bought it for me. He was in the Navy, and I hoped that I would be really into it, along with Space Quest 3. I actually got further in it than Space Quest 3 at first.
This is shocking already.
But there's a parenthetical here. It took me far too long to figure out how to position myself next to the scooper in Space Quest 3. I was just a dumb kid. I think that's fair.
That is very fair. It's not typically how you interact with most things in Sierra games up to that point in history. That's fair dinkum, as we like to say here on Quest.
I genuinely enjoyed it, and I haven't played it since. I don't know when I got the hint book, maybe even right away, but I had one at some point, and it's possible I never made it out of Tahiti without it. Perhaps also important to note is that we had a Mac, System 6 or whatever, and for the Mac, we only had two main games, Dark Castle and, wait for it, Sub Battle Simulator by Epix.
Oh.
So perhaps I was already primed to be incredibly into sub simulators, and the additional techno thriller and sexy wrapping around it was just what I needed. I'm reasonably certain I have not played it since, so perhaps after having played other amazing games, I would dislike it, but I did genuinely enjoy it at the time. The part I found most frustrating was the mapping, which took me ages upon ages in our damp, green-carpeted basement room to get right. Perhaps Jim will return from retirement someday to finish Codename Phoenix. I sure hope so. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew. That's great. I mean, this is something I'm curious about. I mean, I played Codename Iceman as a kid, but
you did? Did we talk about that?
We maybe didn't. I had a pirated copy.
What the
fuck? I just didn't get anywhere.
Now we'll never get Jim on.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I've bought it since. I bought digital copies and a physical copy.
And you have an actual, yeah.
Yeah, so I've tried to make up for it. But yeah, that's one I had a pirated copy of, like a family friend, a friend of my parents gave it to me. I don't know how he got a hold of it. I suspect it was probably pirated multiple times before he had it. But yeah, I played it as a kid, and of course, without instructions and no access pre-internet to walkthroughs and things like that, I got nowhere. I never made it past the CPR scene.
Well, you didn't. Yeah, you didn't have the copy protection because
Yeah,
you
so
were.
I never went anywhere with it. So
Right.
it is fascinating to hear someone who played it as a child and had a positive experience with it, because I really can't put myself in that mindset. So thank you, Matthew.
Thank you. All right. Well, Jess, what are we talking about today? Take us through it.
Man, we have a very exciting topic for today. Ben, over the course of this week's episode, and I suspect probably next week's episode as well, we are going to determine scientifically, objectively, beyond shadow of a doubt, what is the best LucasArts adventure game.
Whoa. How are we doing that?
This will be settled by the time we're done with it. The way we're going about this, Ben, as we've established before here on Quest, the energy that we bring to the table, hello also, the energy I like to bring to this podcast is really that jock energy. And as we record this, it's March, and man, I've got a serious case of March Madness.
Now this will come out in the second week of April, but fair enough.
Yeah, a lot of people will still be recovering from March Madness in the second week of April.
Dizzy.
Or if you're like me, you're already getting ready for the next March Madness, 11 and a half months away. So the way we're going to do this in the style of a tournament bracket, I have seeded a bracket with 16 LucasArts adventure games. They're going to go head to head in a series of matchups, and whoever emerges at the end of this tournament bracket will be officially recognized. This will be on Wikipedia. We're going to get our Wikipedia guy, Grayson, to go in and put a note on Wikipedia that says, in 2025, Adventure Game Podcast, Quest, the Adventure Game Podcast, ranked this as the greatest LucasArts game of all time. So we are going to make this Wikipedia official if we can convince Grayson to do that for us.
Yeah. Well, that sounds wonderful. So, all right, take us to our first matchup.
Okay, so we have seeded a bracket with 16 games, or maybe 17 adventure games, or maybe 15 adventure games, depending on how you're counting. This first matchup is going to cheat things a little bit. Our first matchup, we have 8 matchups in this first round.
Okay, and we're just doing the first round today.
Just doing the first round, I think, today.
Next one. Okay.
Next episode. Okay, round 1, matchup number 1. We have Grim Fandango in one corner, weighing in at 1 CD-ROM.
I think it
was like 3 or 2. It was more than that. Yeah. It was some number of CD-ROMs. Nobody knows for sure. It's lost to time.
We'll never know.
Impossible to know.
Yeah, you can't find out.
And this is where things are a little bit sketchy, because really LucasArts only made like 15 real adventure games. So what I've decided to do here to fill this slot, to give us a nice even 16, I want to consider 2 games together. I want to talk about Indiana Jones and his desktop adventures and Star Wars Yoda stories. So I think and I suspect, I can kind of anticipate where this matchup may be going. Ben, what can you tell us about Indiana Jones's desktop adventures and Star Wars Yoda stories?
And I, for full disclosure, I've never played either, but I have a pretty strong opinion on them.
That's how I know you're a true gamer.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. My understanding of these games is that they're kind of these like Windows 3.1 windowed kind of little randomized roguelikes, at least to Indiana Jones, right? Like, I don't know if Star Wars is randomized, but I think Indiana Jones was.
Star Wars is very much, if I'm not mistaken, it's procedurally generated as well.
I would actually really be interested in checking it out as a like I know at the time because I remember very distinctly reading the reviews in Computer Gaming World at the time for those two games, and they were extremely super negative,
Yeah, I think it was like
unbelievably.
yeah, I think Indiana Jones and his Desktop Adventures was maybe ranked as like their 15th worst game of all time in one of those countdowns or
Right.
something. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, these were poorly received. I've played both of them briefly.
So you played them.
I
Okay.
have played these, which is why I was willing to include them in the bracket. I would have felt
Okay.
bad if I'd never touched these things. I have played both of these in the last few years. I didn't play them at the time.
Oh, you
Uh,
okay. Interesting.
but I've gone back because I thought maybe these would be good streams. And spending like 5 minutes with each one of them, I decided these would not be particularly good streams. They're randomized, but they're very rudimentary and clunky and feel like that early era of Windows native gaming in like even down to like the sound effects. Everything just sounds like the
Does it
system
have
is
like
playing a
a MIDI
wave file.
playing?
Yeah, I mean, as MIDI's playing,
Yeah.
it sounds like a wave file every time you like crack a whip or shoot a gun or something like that. It's yeah, I mean these promise, I think, literally billions of possible combinations, but in my experience, you probably need to run through this 3 or 4 times at most and move on. These are budget priced value games. I don't think they were ever meant to set the world on fire, but they're up against arguably, um, according to some people, we'll determine this for sure. It's up against Grim Fandango.
This is the number one seed.
Number one seed is Grim Fandango.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to say too much about Grim Fandango now because it's obviously going to win this one.
Well, we haven't decided that.
But yeah, I mean, Grim Fandango number one. It's an adventure game. Those two aren't really. So
No,
that
yeah,
helped.
they're
Uh,
adventure adjacent, but yeah, I mean, Grim Fandango much more clearly an adventure game,
yeah,
uh, and a beloved one. I mean, yeah,
right.
we will get plenty of time to talk about Grim Fandango moving forward. I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week in our best sidekicks episode where we talked
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah,
Glottis and
he didn't
how
win
much
though. Yeah,
he did not win. I mean, I'm sorry, Glottis.
yeah,
Better luck next time. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have a chance in these future matchups because I think this is an easy answer, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. All
it's
right.
not clear Indy and Yoda belong on this bracket in the first place. We might as well have just given Grim Fandango a bye here.
Yep.
It moves on to the second round.
All right. So Grim Fandango. We'll see you next week. All right. What's next?
All right. Now, this one, Ben, I think this is a little bit more of an intriguing matchup. I think there's a little more meat on the bone here. Ben, in the matchup between Full Throttle and Loom.
All right.
Oh
Okay.
man, now this one's I think an interesting one.
These are
I
both great games. What were the seeds? So you assigned all the seeds for this. What seeds did
I,
you
I looked
give
at some
these?
countdowns and tried to rank all of these kind of in order of where they seem to be. Full Throttle and Loom are 8 and 9
Okay.
seeds,
Okay.
respectively. So they're right in the middle of the pack, which is
Right.
about where it feels like they belong, and very close to one another here. 8 and 9 should be a good matchup based on these
So
rankings.
let's talk about Full Throttle first. So Full Throttle, that is they're like Tim Schafer's motorcycle like biker gang game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh which takes place in kind of like this near future dystopia. And what I love about it, what I love about Full Throttle is the feel and the look of it. Um there's no, I mean, in this you could say the same about Grim Fandango. There's no game quite like there's no world quite
Yeah.
like the Full Throttle world. That's one of the things I really have always appreciated about Full Throttle is that it is such a thoroughly unique and interesting world. Like I think it's a real marvel of world building
Yeah, it's a
that
singular vision.
yeah.
borrows bits here and there from other kind of near future apocalyptic-y stuff. But it really does feel like it is, its own thing in a way that's really fascinating. Like I
It's
think maybe along with Grim Fandango, I think is a game that thrives on its vibes, maybe more so than anything else on this list. I think it is a game where it's all about the sort of vibes it delivers with this setting, with these characters. I think it's a beautiful game. It's a great sounding game. I like Full Throttle quite a bit myself.
yeah. I got Full Throttle as a pack-in bonus with Grim Fandango.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't realize they did that.
and so I really loved it. Like it was a real bonus. It's also and this is true of Loom, it's also very short. It's not a very
Yes.
long game, which I think is great. Let's talk about
Yeah.
Loom.
Okay, Loom is tough, right? Like I think this may be one of the matchups in the first round that is giving me the most consternation because I haven't played Loom start to finish, which I know is hilarious since it's a notoriously short
It's
and easy
very
game.
short. It's
Yeah, that's
very,
right.
very short.
If you've played Loom at all, you probably should have finished playing it all the way through. And part of that is I've been saving it for some stream to come someday, which is a bad way to approach pieces of media at
Well,
some level.
I have played and completed Loom multiple times. Loom, the sole full game by Infocom implementer Brian Moriarty at Lucasfilm. He was behind one of the false starts of the dig, but he never finished it.
I mean, who wasn't behind one of the false starts of the dig?
But Loom is once again um a extremely original vision. This game about this storybook fantasy, like fairy tale about Bobbin Threadbare of the Guild of the Weavers, who has this special destiny, and like it has a very kind of straightforward story. It's the world itself and how you interact with it that is so unique. Like each of the world or each of the guilds is associated with a particular trade, and each of those trades works, like I think, like kind of a magic within their trade. Like, so they're glass makers, and there's like iron workers or something like
Hmm.
that. And it is also scored by Swan Lake.
Yeah, it's
And
beautiful, just
the
beautiful.
instead of your classic scum interface, or like even like a verb coin or whatever, you only interact like you can look at stuff and you can pick things up. No, you can't pick things up. You can only pick up um one thing. Uh but you interact by casting spells.
Yeah, performing
Which are
drafts.
little, yeah, performing drafts, that's correct. Um and which is kind of similar to the Infocom, like there were a couple of those Infocom games, like the Sorcerer series, like that
Yeah,
trilogy of games.
Wishbringer, is that one of those that's in there?
Wishbringer
Maybe.
was Brian Moriarty, and
Yeah.
I don't it had spells in it, but that wasn't like the
Okay.
primary way.
Oh, it wasn't the only way or the main way you interact with the world. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess in Sorcerer, like you had an
Hmm.
inventory and all that. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, so Loom is the first LucasArts game that I ever beat, because it's so short,
Yeah.
and it's also an outlier in the LucasArts catalog, in that aside from the dig, which we'll get to, um, it's the only And I kind of I mean, I guess Full Throttle isn't really a comedy, but it's kind of wry, you know.
I mean, it's definitely going for some laughs along the way here and there.
It is played completely straight as this fantasy.
Yeah.
Um, and
Honestly,
it's
it nails the fairy tale vibe in some ways that, like, I know that's something King's Quest was always aspiring to, but I think in terms of like storybook fantasy, I think Loom strikes that tone really masterfully.
yeah, well, King's Quest is like this kind of hodgepodge, and that's
It's
not
a
putting it
pastiche.
down.
Yeah.
But that's what's kind of fun about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas Loom is this like this very strange fantasy world. It also, again, this is a very even matchup. They have like it also has really beautiful art, specifically
Yeah.
the original 16 color version. I don't fuck with that 20 or VGA version.
Yeah, nor should you. No, I mean it's a great looking game too, but boy, the 16 color is so much moodier and more evocative and just yeah, I mean if I'm choosing, I'm playing the 16 color version all day.
Anyway, my vote is very thoroughly Loom over
Wow.
Full
Okay.
Throttle. No hesitation on that.
No hesitation of
Because
that.
the stuff that sucks in Full Throttle sucks, and there's nothing that bumps me in Loom like
Loom
that.
doesn't stick around long enough to suck.
Yeah, like they're both short games and they're both unique worlds and they both have great art, but um Loom doesn't have like the destruction derby sequence
Yeah.
or the bike fights or like that annoying puzzle with like the
Bunny.
bunnies.
Yeah.
Like it Full Throttle has a lot of points of friction in it, which
Uh-huh.
Loom absolutely does not.
It is a Teflon game. Yeah, it is a frictionless surface. You know, I was a little bit more on the bubble on this one. Like, I could have been convinced, I think, that Full Throttle could advance here. But the more we talked about it, the more I'm with you too. I don't, this isn't as open and shut for me, but I do agree. And now I want to say, before we started this, Ben and I agreed that if there was not a conclusion reached in any of these matches, we would just keep going
Yeah.
until one of us
Mm-hmm.
gave up
Yeah.
and just said, okay, Ben, you can have your way.
Yep.
This isn't that. I think that I am willing to narrowly grant Loom my vote here as well. I think Loom, fantastic game. It advances on to the second round. Sorry, Full Throttle.
Congratulations,
We love
Loom.
you. I mean, this is tough. This is a tough position to enter the bracket in.
Yeah, yeah, Full Throttle is a great game, but I like Loom more.
I'm
Dang.
sorry. I like Loom more. It's too bad Full Throttle wasn't matched up against like I don't know Zach McCracken. It could have advanced far in this
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah,
But
yeah.
sorry. That's just how the cookie crumbles, as I like to say.
Right. All right, Jess, what's next?
Okay, next Ben. I think we have another easy one. We have a number 4 seed versus a number 13 seed. Our 4 seed is Sam and Max Hit the Road.
All right.
You're bringing the freelance police
One of
to
as I
the big
said
dance.
when we talked about comedy games, I would say one of the funniest games.
Yes, without question. I'm right there with you.
All right. And what's
Up
up
against
13?
number 13, it's going to be Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade had a couple big laughs, but they were all unintentional.
Are you thinking like giant kaiju fist fights
Yeah,
outside the
so
Zeppelin?
when I streamed Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and I played the 16 color original, which also I think looks better than the later their later version in
Correct.
VGA. Uh I don't know if this was a glitch in the game or like a scum VM glitch, but it doesn't matter because it was hilarious and I lost my shit laughing. Which is that like when a Nazi like started a fight with Indy outside of the Zeppelin, uh like it was this scene where like it's a big zoom out and like Indy is like a like a 3 pixel
Dot.
tall little
Yeah.
dot, but for some reason like the game or ScumVM or whatever started to glitch out, and instead Indy became like enormous, like his
Yeah.
normal sprite,
Like
as
his
did
full
the
size
Nazi.
sprite. So he's like towering over buildings and stuff.
But instead of them fighting, like they were not aligned with each other and like shadow boxing in opposite directions. And it was the funniest shit. And they just started to slide around the screen. It was so funny. And
Well, that
also,
was
it's
the
like
best
I
scene
had
in the
no
movie too.
control of what was happening. It was just that Indy was just getting the shit kicked out of him. There's nothing I could do. It was really funny. Um, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is a Lucasfilm adventure game that commits like extreme design sins.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some brutal stuff with the combat that
S-
is just, I mean, the maze navigation
It's
sort of
got
stuff. I mean,
combat, it's got mazes. I think you can dead end yourself. I forget.
yeah, I
Like,
can't remember for sure, but yeah, I mean, it's a game I loved as a kid. I think it was the first Lucas film game I played. I think I played it before Secret of Monkey Island. I'm not 100% sure on that. And I love Last Crusade. We talked about this when we talked about indie games. It was
yeah,
it's my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I love this game quite a bit just because it follows the movie so very closely. But I wouldn't commit to the idea of it being a great game. It has one of the best Phillies of all time. Uh,
the Grail
the uh,
Diary.
the Grail Diary pack in. I mean, it's got that going for it, but there's no way for me that it is beating Sam and Max Hit the Road.
No, no.
One of the
And
funniest games of all time.
Sam and Max Hit the Road is a game I think we'll have a lot more to say about next week. So I don't even want to talk about it. It
Yeah.
it's so obviously better.
Yeah, there. Yeah, we all. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Close the book on this match.
Yeah.
It's a big win for the Overdog and the Over Rabbit. They've defeated Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Sam and Max Hit the Road. The number 4 seed advances to the next round.
All right. Jess, what's up next?
What's up next? What's up next? We've got quite a matchup. We've got number 5 seed, Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. And number 12 seed, Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders. Now, Ben, you're a huge Zach McCracken fan.
You know, I beat Zach McCracken as a kid with
That
hints,
is
but
unbelievable.
I beat it.
Yeah, when we heard earlier from Matthew, who as a kid did really well in Codename Iceman without a hint book and things like that, I can't comprehend beating Zach McCracken. I had a walkthrough and like
You were
a
having a
dozen
miserable
people trying
time.
to tell me what to do, and I could not get through Zach McCracken.
Yeah, you were having a really terrible time playing Zach McCracken. The Zach McCracken, first off, Zach McCracken has a really wonderful premise, which is that you're a tabloid journalist and you have to like you're traipsing across the world to investigate like this like alien conspiracy that would be in a tabloid. And it is, and we'll talk about Maniac Mansion a little bit later, but as someone that recently played Maniac Mansion, it feels like it is the true sophomore slump game to Maniac Mansion, which is it's like Maniac Mansion is this very tight and clever design. It's located in one house. It has all this like kind of clever overlapping design that's really interesting. It's this fun little
Yes,
puzzle box. And Zach McCracken is like, what if we did that? But like more. You can go
and
all
it's
over the world,
sprawling
and there's a ton
now.
of locations. So you can go to Mars, and like there's all of this stuff, and you control instead of controlling 3 people, you control 4 people,
Mm-hmm. That's one more.
and like there's just all this stuff, but it doesn't like it's just more, it's not better, like it's just a lot of stuff and it fills it up, with mazes, and they're not
Mazes.
particularly difficult mazes, but they are a pain in the ass.
Now I have video footage that would suggest otherwise. These are incredibly difficult mazes. Otherwise, how do you explain the fact that I had trouble solving them?
Uh, well, that will remain a mystery to me, but um,
I mean, Zach McCracken, yeah, I think calling it their sophomore slump game is really a good way to frame this. And I think, again, this is a matchup that we know how it's going to end. This one is going to go, I believe, unless you surprise me here, this one's going to Monkey Island too, right?
yeah.
It has to. If you had to make a case, if you had to try to convince somebody that Zach McCracken deserves to advance here, what is the one thing about that game that you would say, this is what makes Zach McCracken special?
Well, here's the thing. Zach McCracken does have like a massive fan base.
Yes.
It has
The entire country of Germany.
Yeah. The entire country of Germany loves Zach McCracken, but it is like
he's like Michael Jordan there.
um,
Beloved by everyone and respected years later.
I think something about having this enormous globetrotting adventure, and it does have like this kind of madcap sense of humor to it. Now you played the later like the FM Towns version.
Yes.
Which is
as one does.
I played the 16 color enhanced EGA version. And I really I like the look of that. I do like those big head Lucas games. I think it's just that it's so silly and weird. It's just that honestly, since it's there isn't, you can't really have dialogue. There is dialogue in it, but you don't chat with people. It's like they do madcap better later, like with Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. It, the ambition of the game strains against what they're able to do, and so I'm not selling the game.
What I like about, I think, as you mentioned that, it's such a shaggy dog kind of story at some level. I kind of love that you can tell it's in an era before you're worried about focus testing this sort of stuff, and really trying to think is what's going to be a marketable game. I know a game about a tabloid reporter tracking down bizarre conspiracies that involve space aliens. I mean, it is an off the wall concept. It's definitely not trying to hit a 4-quadrant kind of
it has
approach.
Beautiful Steve Purcell cover.
Absolutely. I mean, that honestly, I think may be my favorite thing about
so does Secret of Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge.
That's right. I mean, everything that's the problem. Everything Zach does well, I think that Monkey Island 2 simply does better. I mean, and we'll talk a lot about Monkey Island 2 next round. It's got a hot matchup coming its way. So, Ben, are we ready to close the book?
Close the book
on this
Monkey
one.
Island
Close
2.
the book. It was a squeaky book. It needs to be oiled.
Yeah.
That's going to be number 5 seed Monkey Island 2, advancing past number 12 seed Zach McCracken.
We'll hear what the next round matchups are at the end of the podcast.
And if listeners want to weigh in, if you think we made the wrong call on any of these, questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Please send us your feedback. And if we agree with it, we will read your email on air. If we don't, we may harass you back in a reply. That's right. Which is also where we broadcast from. So you're good either way.
I'm on the toilet right now. Yeah.
All right. Our next one. Number 2 seed. The Secret of Monkey Island. Now we're Monkey Island 1. Up against Lucasfilm's very first adventure game, Labyrinth, the computer game.
Obviously, this is Secret of Monkey Island.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to keep anyone in suspense out there. We're not going to troll you to the point of that would be amazing though if we were just you know what, Secret of Monkey Island's played out. David Bowie's awesome. Labyrinth, you advance. Move forward.
It has some interesting ideas. It is one of the handful of adventure games that Douglas Adams had a little bit to do with.
Yeah.
But I'd like listen, it's it's not Secret
Y-
of Monkey Island, which is one of the greatest and most tight adventure game designs that has ever been made.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize this, but I've discovered as I was preparing show notes for this episode, I don't like Labyrinth because I discovered I cannot spell the word labyrinth. You could give me,
Labyrinth.
yeah, you could give me like 3 tries and I'm not going to get labyrinth spelled correctly. And that makes me mad. Normally, I'm a pretty good speller. Ben, I don't want to brag. I was a regional spelling bee champion.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you
No,
fail when you made it to like nationals or whatever?
and they asked me labyrinth. David
Yeah.
Bowie was the guest judge. And he said,
I'd like
Jess, it's me, David Bowie.
that's hold on. I
Jess,
had a David Bowie at one time
it's
and
me,
now
Ziggy Stardust.
yours sounds your David Bowie sounds a little bit Beatlesy.
I'm
Uh
from Liverpool, isn't it?
uh it's like, oh man. Now like, oh,
Oh, you're hearing.
I had a David Bowie and this is killing me. It's like uh but now all I can do is now I'm just thinking of doing a Beatles voice, which isn't
It's
even
me,
close.
David Bowie. Peace and love.
Now it's like, hello, Jess, it's me, David Bowie. How about you check out my new game? It's called Labyrinth. It's out
Colon.
now for the Commodore 64, and you can also play it on an Atari 800.
Nailed it.
Me
That
and the
was.
boys, we all play Atari 800 in Berlin. I'm also doing a lot of heroin.
I'm the thin white duke. That's what they call me.
I'm always reinventing myself. Terrible. Terrible,
I'm
terrible,
always,
terrible.
I'm always
Terrible,
reinventing.
terrible.
That was what I always loved about David Bowie is when he would give interviews. They're like, "So what's up, David Bowie?" He'd be like,
I'm
"You
working
know,
on the new reinvention of my
yeah.
whole persona.
Have you noticed me hair and makeup are different?"
Did you notice I'm wearing a new outfit for Earthling?
Well, actually, Ben, this is maybe like swaying me a little bit toward Labyrinth. I mean, Labyrinth, I mean, first of all, it looks like Habitat, LucasArts fascinating,
Mhm.
like multi-user dungeon sort of game. It's got that going for it. It has a early point and click verb interfacey kind of thing, sort of pre widespread use of mice, but at least it was a no typing interface. I think my favorite thing about it is it does like the Wizard of Oz trick where it
Mm.
starts out as a text adventure.
Yes, that's a very clever idea.
Yeah, then you go sit down in a movie theater, and much like Wizard of Oz goes from black and white to Technicolor, all of a sudden this text adventure becomes a graphic
And
adventure
you
right before
play it
your eyes.
yourself, right? Like you're pulled in by the Goblin King
Yes, it's me, the
into like,
Goblin King.
hello, it's me, the Goblin King.
Jareth, I think I've never seen the movie.
You've never seen Labyrinth?
No, or Dark Crystal, and I can't keep them straight always.
Well, here's the thing. Labyrinth is better, but they're both fine. You
Which is
know?
a better game, Sierra's Dark Crystal or
Oh,
LucasArts?
well, yeah, Labyrinth, easy.
Yeah. Um, I mean,
Anyway,
no, yeah.
Secret of Monkey Island. Let's
It's
move.
Secret. I don't know if you guys have heard about this game, Secret of Monkey Island. It's pretty good. It may go far in this tournament.
My favorite part is where you have to cross the bridge in Secret of Monkey Island.
With the troll.
Yeah, and it turns out it's George Lucas. That's pretty funny.
I'm glad. I'm hoping that all of our listeners out in the UK are
Oh
really
yeah, they
enjoying.
love this.
Yeah, they can't get
There's
enough
nothing
of.
they enjoy. Here, how about this? How about this? I could do let's see if I have it in my pocket. An impression of a bad like a bad British version of an American accent.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, hello there, Jess. I'm from New York City. It's
Pretty
very
good.
nasal and it's kind of slow. Like it comes out from the nose
Hmm.
and it's like, my favorite game is The Secret of Monkey Island. Like, and every now and again there's a little slip up.
I feel
But
like if you like took that down a little bit, quickly it gets into frosty chocolate milkshakes territory.
I frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just like when you say
I
that.
want a frosty chocolate milkshake.
There
I'm
you go.
from Oklahoma. All right, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Okay. Secret of Monkey Island advances, obviously. This next one's a little bit more interesting. We've got a number 7 seed, The Curse of Monkey Island. We're knocking out these Monkey Islands now.
Yeah.
The Curse of Monkey Island versus Maniac Mansion.
Oh man, I wish I had the song loaded up. I'm gonna have to get that ready on the board. Maniac Mansion is a important game. It's a beautiful design.
Yes.
I think it's a really beautiful design. I think it is a really fascinating design. I think um it lays out a template for what they're going to be doing. Um in the same way that Secret of Monkey Island does, and I'll probably talk about that a lot in the next week. But uh Maniac Mansion, a game where you're three horny teens.
Is
I
that established?
It's
Are
not
all of them
established,
horny?
but in in the
Yeah.
version of the manual that I have,
Yeah.
it says next to each of the characters,
And I will
parentheses,
say, just to
horny.
give you guys an idea of what's coming, after we finish with this bracket next week, our next bracket is horniest teen in Maniac Mansion. So
I was at a comedy show like a comedy show that was trying to do like successfully. It was very good. Like that was doing kind of like a British like quiz show, like panel show type thing.
uh-huh.
And they did a whole like a round of questions on Grease 2, and that was delightful
Oh man.
because who the fuck knows anything about Grease 2?
Ben, I'm a cool writer, and
Uh-huh.
I know a lot about Grease
Well,
too.
you would have run the board on these chucklers.
I think it's better than the first one.
That's an insane opinion.
No,
There was
I'm
someone
not
in the
a
audience
maniac.
that yelled out. She's like, "Well, I like it more because it's less problematic." And it's like, that may be true. I've not seen
Yeah.
Grease
But
2.
but
But
you're also just objectively wrong.
yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is that would be like, picking Sack McCracken over Monkey Island too. Just some things are just better than others.
anyway, it's a really beautiful and clever design. I think exploring a big spooky house in a game is fun.
It is.
It's
It's
just
got big Scooby Doo energy.
yep.
It's I mean, I love the NES version. It's the first one I played.
Mm.
I love the fact that it has like a constant soundtrack going,
Yeah,
whereas the
different.
original is a little bit more silent. I find the NES graphics actually a little bit more charming than
They are kind
how
of
it appears.
charming, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I like about Maniac Mansion. I will say, for me, it is such an intricate design that I don't think I could ever make it through Maniac Mansion without a walkthrough or at least some sort of memory of the last time I played it to go on. I never beat Maniac Mansion on my own. I
No.
rented it like 4 times for NES. And in those 4 weekends, I was never able to. I played it a lot because there's a lot you can do even if you aren't really making progress in the game per se, but never really quite figured out what to do with it. But I mean, it's impressive. It introduces the Scum engine. It is a design that I don't know, again, just in terms of like a feat of game design. I don't know if they quite match it honestly
That
until the sequel.
that you control 3 horny teens, that each has, like, 3 different, uh, like, they each have their own set of abilities, and then, those abilities can be, can, like can be mixed up because you can select
Yeah.
from a pool of different horny teens. Um, that it's so clever, it's so interesting, but also Curse of Monkey Island is hilarious and fun and beautiful, and uh it cracked my head open when I played it as a 12, 13, came out in 97, 11-year old.
Yeah. Oh
So
no. Oh no. I was 20 when I played this.
yeah, I'm
I was
sorry.
in college. I was in Ding
Yeah,
Dang College.
I'm sorry, Jess. It was a very exciting Christmas when I got
Oh
Curse of
man.
Monkey Island. And so unfortunately, now, and let's all keep in mind that we are doing this extremely scientifically. But yeah, that has a very special place in my heart. It's for me, it's curse.
Yeah, I mean it's cursed for me all the way too. And we'll talk more about what we love about
Yeah.
curse next round. But I do want to point out all of these games that are being eliminated this round, of course, are tying for last place. So in this world, Maniac Mansion isn't exactly the same category as Indiana Jones's Desktop Adventures. I'm sorry, they're now equally good
Yeah, yeah,
because
exactly.
they've been discarded. That's too bad, but
All
that's how
right.
tournaments work.
What's next?
Next, we're coming into our seventh matchup this round,
All right,
Ben.
almost done.
We
Okay,
we
okay.
have no. Are you in a hurry? Do you have somewhere to be?
Yeah, I'm going to a late night dentist.
Really? Why are you
Yeah.
haven't done?
Oh, I'm adding new teeth.
Finally.
Getting like,
Um,
I've just been looking at my mouth and seeing like kind of some nooks and crannies that could use a couple new teeth. And the all night late night dentist is into all sorts of freaky shit. So it's like, yeah, hey, could you put a tooth on my tongue? That'd be interesting. And he's just like, hell yeah, my man. Do you want a bump of the laughing gas? And I'm like, yes, I do. And then we do it. And and I wake up and I'm missing a couple organs, but my mouth is full of teeth.
I mean, yeah, you've never looked better, honestly.
Yeah. I'm
I'd
I'm
love to know
I'm
if this guy
teeth
takes my
maxing.
insurance.
I'm organ minning and teeth maxing.
You're enamel peeled.
Yeah.
Okay, so next matchup, we're at number 3 seed, Day of the Tentacle,
Uh-huh.
and number 14 seed,
Okay.
Escape from Monkey Island.
All right. Yeah, this one obviously extremely easy. I all right.
Monkey
So
Island is
we're
next matchup.
focusing a lot. Like we're giving a lot of the air to the obvious losers, and so Escape from Monkey Island will always be that massive disappointment to me because I got Escape from Monkey Island like right at release, and Curse of Monkey Island was so special. And then I played Escape from Monkey Island, and not only did it barely run on my computer at the time, but it was also bad and not fun to play. Which was even more. Um, it took the interface from Grim Fandango and said like, what if we made it more complicated?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Absolutely. That's a good way to put it. And I think the biggest sin it commits is exactly what you said. It's just not very fun to play. I mean, even when like Secret of Monkey Island, LeChuck's Revenge, Curse of Monkey Island, even when their puzzles get a little bit complicated, it is still light and breezy enough that you're having fun while you play.
Yeah,
This
I
one,
yeah.
even just down to the fact that you're fighting with the interface constantly
You're
and
fighting
just everything's clunkier and
you're fighting with the interface. Everything's clunkier. I also just think that it lacks it lacks the special something that makes a Monkey Island
yeah.
game good. And that's even like if this was even like a 2D game using the classic Scum interface, I just don't think that the writing is
No.
as good. And my
I don't think the
big
Ozzy Mandrill storyline ever clicks. I don't
Yep.
think it ever manages to be a quite effective as satire or
It's
parody or whatever it's going for.
it there's too much plot.
It
There's
is,
a
yeah,
lot of story in Escape from Monkey Island. There's a story of like, this Elaine trying to become governor again, and this land grab, and then like LeChuck is in this disguise, and blah 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 blah. It's all very
yeah.
very like there's a lot of twists and turns, and it's
There's all the commercialization of the Caribbean thing where it's like we have Star Buccaneers and Planet Threepwood.
it just
And
doesn't it just doesn't I don't know. It just does not
none
like
of it ever gels.
it just doesn't feel I think I think what I think kind of the secret sauce of those other 3 Monkey Island games, and then even the other 2 that come after it, is that they are ridiculous, and they have anachronisms, and they have, all this stuff in them, but at the same time, um, they still are conceivably in that Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Like it has enough of
Yeah.
that like kind of fantasy pirate adventure in there that Escape gets the balance wrong. My dad once made um he once made a banana bread, and
Uh-huh.
he mixed up baking powder and baking soda,
Ah,
and it
yes.
was disgusting and inedible. It was absolutely some of the most vile shit I've ever eaten in my life. And this isn't the most vile game I've played in my life, but it feels like they put in baking soda instead of baking powder.
I like this analogy. Let me make my case for Escape from Monkey Island with the full disclosure that obviously Day of the Tentacle is advancing here.
Right.
Some Something I like about Escape from Monkey Island, it's also unfortunate about it. I actually think that Escape from Monkey Island for a relatively early 3D adventure game looks pretty good, but the only problem is even looking pretty good for an early 3D adventure game, it still looks worse than the 3 games in the series that preceded it.
I don't even think it looks I like Guybrush's maroon
Yeah,
outfit, but that's
yeah.
it. I don't like the pre-renders,
I don't love the
which
pre-renders. I like the models in general. I think the
I think
models
the
look
models
kind of
are
clean.
good. I think the models are nice and clean and colorful and look good.
Yeah,
I think like in comparison to like Grim Fandango, which has these pre-renders that are really like detailed and gorgeous, like these
yeah.
really like
It doesn't
wonderful
have that.
the
Yeah,
the pre-renders in Escape from Monkey Island look kind of washed out in comparison,
they
and
do. Yeah.
they lack, this is what I'm saying, they lack personality. Like the whole thing
For a
is
game that's been
missing
all
something.
about personality, especially, gosh, Curse of Monkey Island. We'll talk more about that next round, but
Yeah,
boy, that art has so much personality.
yeah.
And then you go from that to something that is inferior in pretty much every single way. I don't know what case you make. I mean, I guess the other thing I would say, it's like Monkey Combat. I don't think it's quite as bad as the reputation it's earned, but it's still bad. I mean, still, it is the classic adventure game sin of here's this elaborate logic puzzle, this paper, rock,
Mhm.
scissors kind of thing. You'll figure it out in relatively short order, but we're still going to make you do it for another 45 minutes after you figure it out if you actually want to advance. I mean, at some level, I would argue maybe even insult sword fighting comes close to wearing out its welcome in
It gets
Secret of Monkey
very
Island.
very close.
Yeah, but at least it's funny. At least it's breezy. You can do it while half paying attention when you get to the later stages of it and you're kind of over it. Oh man, Monkey Combat. Again, I think some people misremember it as being difficult or whatever to figure out. It's not that. It's just absolutely no fun, and it's very close to the end of the game, and it grinds the pacing
It
to a
is so
halt.
upsetting when you know that you're at like the end of the game and then you have like this long grinding puzzle. Like
Yeah,
in Space Quest 5 when you're in that enormous maze at the end and it's just like you know you're at the end, you know you're at the final
yeah,
thing and then you have like this multi-level pain in the ass maze
yeah.
and it's just
It's not
like
even the worst maze. It's just like this is the last thing I want to be doing
yeah,
during like this huge build to the climax. It's
right.
like slam on the brakes. It's time to crawl around in, the Jeffries tubes for a little while.
All right, next.
Okay, so for that one, folks, Day of
Escape.
the Tentacle, no surprise advances. Escape gets thrown into the dustbin of history.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are, final matchup for the evening. We have a number 6 seed, I guess a number 11 seed, and Ben, I think this could be an interesting matchup.
Okay. Okay.
We've got number 6, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis,
Great game.
versus number 11, The Dig.
All right. I mean, I think this one's pretty easy for me, but also I have not played the dig.
I haven't finished The Dig. I've played. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like out of some of these matchups, maybe along with Full Throttle versus Loom, I think this is the one that has a stronger chance than some of potentially alienating some listeners, which we're fine with. Go your own way. There are other adventure game podcasts out there.
Yeah.
We're the adventure game
Yeah.
podcast,
Correct.
but there are
Correct.
there is an adventure game podcast you could listen to
Yeah.
instead. Um, there are people who love the dig.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few people who love the dig.
Right.
There are people who passionately love the dig. The problem is those people,
Are not the hosts of this podcast.
they're not the host of this podcast. And also, if they're saying it's better than Fate of Atlantis,
It's
I
funny,
just don't
like
know.
these two are probably also pretty closely matched in that they're both like kind of similar subject matter.
Yeah.
Like they're
Lost
very
civilizations and
yeah, lost civilization, exploration. They're not comedies. They
mhm,
are um but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Fate of Atlantis uh is a remarkable feat because it gets the tone of an Indiana Jones right. And it is a completely
correct.
new story. And that is enormous.
Yeah. Improves on Last Crusade in basically
Yeah.
every way it could.
Did you know that the guy that um designed Fate of Atlantis, Hal Barwood, like worked with Steven Spielberg? Like he wrote Starlight Express.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Like that was I think that was part of his pedigree was it's like we got this guy from Hollywood and he worked with Steven Spielberg. He
Yeah.
wrote Starlight Express, which I have not seen.
Well, I mean, yeah, and Fate of Atlantis is great. I mean, it's a fantastic game. We'll talk more about it. Again, I think I'm ready to say here. Again, you and I aren't digsmen necessarily. I think I'm willing to say this is for me and listeners, you're welcome to disagree at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. I think this is an easy advance for Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. I
Oh,
mean,
wait, not Starlight Express, the Sugarland Express. Sorry.
oh, Sugarland Express.
Sugarland Express. Sorry.
Well, then I definitely knew that.
Yeah. Sorry, Starlight. Yeah. Sugarland. There's someone that was listening or that was like, Ben, no, Sugarland Express, Sugarland Express.
They had already composed an email to
No,
questquestpodcast@gmail.com and we're getting ready to hit send right when
no,
probably Grayson.
no.
But yeah, I mean, the dig is ambitious. The dig is a game with a troubled development. Like I said, kind of sounds like everyone at LucasArts and people who weren't at LucasArts all took a crack at trying to turn this into a viable game design. What we eventually get, I think it was pretty well reviewed, but nobody necessarily saw it as one of LucasArts' best works. It's ambitious. I don't know if it quite lives up to that ambition. Indiana Jones: The Fate of Atlantis is a delightful addition to the Indiana Jones saga. And honestly, that's something you can't say about multiple Indiana Jones films. So it's got that going for it.
Or even games. Now, is that it?
Ben, that's the
I gotta
first
go to
round.
this
Can I-
dentist.
Oh,
My
yeah, no,
mouth is feeling extremely bare. I've got
I got the
naked
need.
mouth.
The need for teeth.
My mouth
But-
is so nude right now. Now,
Well, let me preview the matchups
yeah,
for next time.
let's see the matchups for next time.
Okay, because I think next time things are going to get a little spicy.
Yeah.
Okay, our first matchup for next week. We're going to continue this next week, and we're going to crown a winner. Grim Fandango versus Loom.
Okay.
Sounds pretty good. Sam and Max Hit the Road versus Monkey Island 2.
All right.
Oh, Ben, are you ready for this?
Sam and Max Hit the Road versus Monkey Island 2 is pretty tough. All right, what's next?
That's pretty tough. I got one tougher for you.
Okay.
The Secret of Monkey Island versus The Curse of Monkey Island.
This is going to be a fight.
This is going to be.
I am anticipating this will be difficult.
Yes, absolutely. And then our final matchup next week for the second round will be Day of the Tentacle versus Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
All right. Okay.
These are all winners at this point,
Yeah.
but only one will be crowned the ultimate victor.
Yeah, so we're going to go through all of them. We're going to go semi to the finals. Those are going to be now, if you think that we got any of these wrong, if you're a Zach McCracken person, you can send us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. What's your bracket? Show us your bracket.
That's right. We should have announced this so people could fill in the, office pools and things like that. Fill in that tournament bracket. We've all got April madness right now.
Yeah,
and
I've got the April madness.
and the summertime sadness. I've got that early this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for listening to Quest the Adventure Game Podcast. As said, you can send us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Please rate and review. 5 stars. 5 stars.
5 stars.
I'm accepting into your brain. A 5-star review.
I am accepting into Ben's brain.
Yeah.
Ben, tell them to also leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube.
Okay, I'm accepting out of Ben's brain.
Okay. And be sure to join us next week when we discuss Starlight versus Sugarland, the ultimate express, the last express.